Scotland's a wild and lovely place.
But there's a change we must embrace.
Scotland's water's world class.
No doubt.
So, take a refillable bottle.
When you go out.
It's your water, your life.
Top up from the tap with Scottish water.
Fresh, cool, clear.
And only available right here.
This afternoon to the 5th session of the Scottish National Age Group Championships 2022. My name's Lynn Alderton. I'm here with Duncan McKinnell. We'll be looking after you this afternoon. We've got a replica of the heats that we had this morning. We had the 15 to 18 years swimmers this morning, and we've got the 11 to 14 years, two age groups of those this afternoon. It's pretty dull here at Tollcross outside. It's probably no better place to be than in the pool hall, and we are welcoming spectators for our younger age group. So this afternoon we've got the girls 200 metres breaststroke, followed up by the boys 200 metres butterfly, girls 100 metres backstroke, and then the boys 50 metres breaststroke. Then we've got some 400 metre events, the 400 metre individual medley for girls and the 400 metres freestyle for boys. No finals in those events, but the 200, 100 and the 50, the swimmers will be competing for finals this evening. And we'll finish off with a medley relay. We had some really exciting medley relays this morning, didn't we, Duncan?
Yes, we certainly did, and some really stonking swims this morning in the medley relay. The Aberdeen women were impressive. The East Lothian 14 to 16-year-olds very strong. In fact, the East Lothian will be maybe looking to take the medley relay this afternoon as well, because they've certainly got the fastest entry time. So it's going to be some great swims. We saw some really good swims from the youngsters in the finals yesterday evening. Of course, they're vying for places in tonight's finals. And I guess a particular challenge is going to be for those swimmers swimming in the 400 this afternoon and then doing it again this evening. That's going to be interesting. But before that, we've got the 200 breaststroke. It looks like we're cracking on with this. There's the lineup, just 3 swimmers in the first heat of the 200 breaststroke. First of 7 heats. Katie Cooper, Warrender, Lisa McNair first, and Juliet Kidd, Dundee City Aquatics, and off we go. No hanging about this afternoon.
No, officials already, weren't they, by the time we actually took up our chairs? So, first heat then, entry times of 3:18, just out to 3:19, so only a second the difference between these 3 swimmers. And it looks pretty even as we come towards the first 8. I don't speak about 8s, 25 metres, that's an 8th, isn't it? So it would be 1 length if they were swimming in a short course pool, but here in the long course it's that red marker.
Yep, and it's the Dundee City Aquatic swimmer, Juliet Kidd. All these 3 in the 11 to 13 age group. Of course, nearly all of the swimmers in that age group, 13. It's pretty tough for 11 and 12-year-olds to get the times to earn a place here. We do have some. 43.98 then is the first split for Juliet. Entered in a time of 3:19, finalist at the North District age groups, of course, where the Midland District clubs, including Dundee, went up to Aberdeen a couple of weeks ago and performed against the North District clubs. It was great for the North District to host the Midlands for that event, given that the Olympia pool in Dundee is closed for quite a long time for some pretty extensive repair work.
Yeah, so coming into the 100 metre mark then, I guess we'll be able to gauge better what kind of finishing times we're looking at. These swimmers look pretty comfortable actually. They're streamlining well in between each of their propulsive parts of their strokes. There's the pink cap, and we've got a nice little line of swimmers with the pink cap of Dundee City Aquatics, Juliet Kidd, just in front. And I fancy the other 2 are just closing up there, or is it the camera angle, do you think, Duncan? I think that certainly Lisa McNair from first. Perhaps drawing up towards Juliet's hips. She was on her toes at the turn, so.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. We'll see the relative splits because we get the intermediate splits coming up at the turn, so we'll see whether Lisa is swimming faster than Juliet, and if so, by how much. And I think she is. She definitely is closing in now. 50 to go. So 2:24.760 there, 4:49.8. In fact, no time coming up for Juliet. So didn't really tell us what we wanted to know there, but you can see on the screen there that now they are, well, briefly side by side, and now it is Lisa just opening up the gap. Contrasting style through it, isn't it? That flatter style from Juliet and really aggressive stroking from Lisa.
Yeah, and you see Lisa completely submerging underneath the water in the streamline position during each of her glide phases, whereas Juliet's keeping her head up. That can work to your advantage as an extra movement that would be required, but I'd imagine her coach will be trying to get her to have her head down. She's really putting in a strong just spurt towards the finish, though. I think it's going to be Lisa from first. 2:18 her entry time. Sorry, 3:18. So 3:13.23, 5-second improvement. That's great. 3:16.41 showing for Katie Cooper. I don't know if we've got a problem in lane 5. But second place, Juliet Kidd, 3:14.45. I'm not sure if that's a backup button or if that is from the touchpads. That's the correct finish order.
Yeah, I suspect that was from the backup button because there's no intermediate split coming up. So I think probably that's been inserted by our timing experts. And that is now the confirmed result. So Lisa now 3:13.23. All three inside their entry time. So that's a nice way to start the afternoon's proceedings.
So heat number 2 then, in lane 1 we have Rosie Stutchfield at Warren Bath Club. In 2, Ksenia Mann from Dundee City Aquatics. Thank you very much to David for helping me out there with Ksenia's pronunciation. Lane 3, Kate Nolan, Warren Bath Club. In lane 4, Amelia Burrell, Glenrothes. In lane 5, Lexi Lamont from Aberdeen. In lane 6, Emily Thompson, Perth City. 7, Eva Kay from East Lothian Swim Team, and in lane 8, Kirsty Seafright, also East Lothian.
So Lexi Lamont off to a nice start. In lane 5, Amelia Burrell, maybe just in second. Oh, I don't know, it's close between her and Eva Kay, but she does have second. 40.03 though, very nice start from Lexi.
Yeah, so let's hope she can hold on. That's at 3 seconds, 4 seconds faster almost than the previous heat. And she's opened up a little bit of a lead there. A couple of body lengths that she is ahead of the swimmers to either side of her. In 4, Amelia Burrell from Glenrothes and Eva Kay from East Lothian. Coming through well now, the pink cap of Ksenia Mann in lane number 2. But as we come in towards, well, 10 metres to go, so 40 metres down, 80 metres down, Duncan, and 120 or so to go. It's still the Aberdeen swimmer, Lexi Lamont, out in front, 1:30.67. So she's held on that extra couple of seconds, so 3 seconds she was ahead of our previous winner.
You see there, Kate Nolan 2 seconds faster than Lexi on that 50. So I think Lexi is going to come under some pressure in the second half of this race. You can see there, lane 3 is Kate Nolan, Amelia Burrell beside her in the dark cat for Glenrothes. Still not too far away. In lane 8 is Kirsty Seafright of Midlothian and the Dundee swimmer, Ksenia Mann. Lexi trying to hold on, but it looks like Kate Nolan maybe is the one who is going to challenge her. See as they come up to the 150. Who's going to touch first? It's tight. It is Kate, 2:22.74.
And Amelia Burrell actually managing to just sneak past Lexi Lamont at that turn as well. Still between these three. I think Lexi's not given up there. She's still working hard down this final length, but we're seeing now a strong showing in lane 4 from Amelia Burrell. Timed out nicely, so just in second place at the last turn, but I think she's going to reach the finish first. Closest to her, Kate Nolan, Warren Baths. Amelia just 12.
Yeah, Amelia Burrell is really taking this on down this last length and is going to take the win, I think. Around a metre clear of Kate Nolan. Fast finish from Ksenia Mann. That's going to be the 1-2-3 as Amelia brings it in 3:11.77. 3:13.44 for Kate Nolan, and Ksenia Mann 3:13.62 in third place.
So good swim there from Amelia Burrell. Just at the fastest time we've seen so far, 3:11.77. Good improvement for her.
Yeah, and as you said, just 12, so the younger end of the age group. Of course, double age groups at the top end of these age groups and at the bottom end.
Yeah, so moving on to Heat 3, and the fastest seed is in fact another 12-year-old representing East Lothian in lane 4. In lane 0, Peyton Forbes from Bucky. In lane 1, Caitlin Parnaby, Elgin. Lane 2, Abigail Thompson, Dundee City Aquatics. Lane 3, Ailey McNichol, Burnt Island. In lane 4, Lucy Fleming, East Lothian, that 12-year-old swimmer. In lane 5, Maya Smith from City of Glasgow. In 6, Innes Scott, Stirling Swim. Lane 7, Alice Perry, Warrington Baths Club. In lane 8, Ellie Wilson, Step Rock. And in lane 9, Anna Lawson, East Lothian. Entry times for this one ranging from 3:10 out to 3:14, so 3:11 the fastest time we've seen so far. We're looking for something underneath 3:10 to take the fastest heats, do you think? And taking it out there in lane 4, that's Lucy Fleming from East Lothian.
Yep, 42.69. That's not as fast as Amelia. Well, it wasn't Amelia Burrell at that stage, was it? It was Lexi Lamont at the early stage, and she did go out very fast and then perhaps paid for that later on. But
I don't think that time registered in lane 4. I think she seemed to touch first, but wasn't shown as first on the scoreboard. So I think that was the time to her feet, perhaps.
okay, so one or two little timing issues early on in this session. Hopefully they'll not last too long. And Lucy, the East District age group champion, have an 11-12 age group in the East District, and she won that. Now, of course, going up against the 13-year-olds here. But I think that was a good touch for her. 1:30.05, leads by just over a second and a half from Ellie Wilson of Step Rock and Alice Perry of Warrington Baths. But this is a nice swim from the youngster from East Lothian. Maybe just edging into second now, Ellie Wilson in the blue cap of Step Rock. St Andrews based team. They're a team who've really moved and progressed hugely. Coach Sharon Headley steering them. Warrender, swimmer still very much with them, Alice Perry, but it does look like Lucy Fleming who is going to take this into the last length with quite a big lead, 2:17.94.
Yeah, and she extended her lead there, so 2 seconds faster than the next fastest swimmer. 47 high for that 50, and it looks like her lead is just getting bigger and bigger. In second place, maybe, over in lane 1, Caitlin Parnaby, Elgin swimmer. Lots of breaststroke swimmers up in Elgin, and also going well, as you said earlier, Ellie Wilson, Step Rock, and then a whole line of swimmers vying for 4th position. I think that lead is being shrunk, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it's under any threat, but it definitely has shrunk. This is really strong last 50 from Caitlin, but Lucy Fleming strong across the whole length of the race. 3:07.09. Is it my imagination, or was that time slightly slow coming up? I don't know. 49.15 there. You can see that she was quite a bit slower than Caitlin down that last 50. And she takes second in 3:09.24. In third place, Ellie Wilson. So well spread across the lanes there. The 1, 2, 3. 3:10.86 for Ellie.
Yeah, so it looks like that time was good, and it was Caitlin Parnaby just fairly flying down that final leg that brought that the 2 swimmers closer together. So heat 4 under orders. Heat 4 in lane 0, Molly Binning, Ren 96. In lane 1, Ava Ross, City of Glasgow. Lane 2, Ailsa Rogers, Durham City. In lane 3, Kimberly Willis, South Ayrshire. In 4, Rebecca Strachan from South Lanarkshire. Lane 5, Rosie Heaps from Falthouse Penguins. In 6, Isla Luke, East Lothian. Molly Irvin Watson from Stranraer goes in lane 7. In lane 8, Katie Gillies, Wenfrey Bath, and in lane 9, Daisy McInnes, City of Glasgow. Do Fault House keep their penguins? Are they still Fault House penguins? I know some of the clubs have lost their animals or their birds at the end.
No, they're still penguins. They're very much still penguins.
Yeah, so I guess the reason that they're shown as Fault House in the programme is because that's lots of letters and there's probably not the room. And swimming well in lane 5, touching first, our Fault House penguin swimmer, Rosie Heaps. Second place at the moment from South Ayrshire, Kimberly Willis.
So Rosie holding about a body length advantage here from Kimberly. Ailsa Rogers, I seem to remember she was medalist in the 50 last night. Was it gold? I can't really remember, but I think it might have been. Ava Ross of City of Glasgow trying to get up in terms with them, and then on the right of your screen in the orange cap, Molly Irvin Watson of Stranraer. She was a bronze medalist, I think. 1:28.04, so a 2-second advantage there for Rosie, or a second and a half, I should say, then from Molly Irvin Watson. Is it tightening up? I think it is. Molly looking good in lane 7. And also coming up nicely in 9 is Daisy McInnes of City of Glasgow. Up near the top of your screen, lanes 3 and 2. Kimberly Willis and Ailsa Rogers. They've got some work to do to get close to the leaders, though. Still the red-capped Rosie Heaps of Fault House. Maybe a metre up.
Yeah, and only just over a second behind. So, but they're putting in the faster splits as well, those two in the centre. And as we say that, that's the orange cap from Stranraer, Molly Irvin Watson. Oh, she's managed to save a little bit for the end there, hasn't she? So her split was about the same on the previous 50 as Rosie Heaps. But I think that's Molly Irvin Watson. She's made her move now with just 25 metres to go and just 15 metres to go now. And it's this orange cap over here on the near side, by the swimmer side. It's going to come through and take this 4th heat.
Yeah, she's got this sewn up, strong finish as well from Kimberly Willis, will take second. And the long-time leader, Rosie Heaps, has to settle for 3rd. 3:05.05 there for Molly. It's entered on 3:09, so another nice improvement. Of course, we'd expect the improvements from these younger swimmers, and we'll be looking to progress further for those that make it through to the final. There's Kimberly Willis's time confirmed, 3:06.55 in second. Rosie Heaps in third, 3:07.57.
Yeah, so Kimberly swimming in the 14-year age group, so that's the best we've seen so far there from South Ayrshire. Molly Irvin in the 11 to 13-year age group, so those are the times to beat.
So in heat number 5, we've got Abigail Thomas of Highland in 0, Grace Hannock in 1 for East Lothian, Millie Barton of North Lanarkshire in 2, Orla Henderson of Shetland in 3, Leonie Bebra in 4 for Incas, another Stranraer swimmer, Mirren Gibb in that bright orange cap in lane 5, Madeline Patterson of City of Glasgow in 6, Carrie Preacher of Lerwick she's in 6, Madeline was in 5, Ellie Kennedy of City of Glasgow in 7, Emily Jackson of Newcastle Swim Team in 8, and Manon Shembry of Perth City in lane 9. So Mirren Gibb looking to keep this Stranraer run going, 39.12. Nice start from her. Beside her in lane 4, the Inca swimmer from Inverkeithing, just over the Forth Bridge. Sorry, the Queensbury Crossing.
Oh yes, it's a very pretty bridge.
Certainly is.
And Mirren looking strong here. So this is the first of our seeded heats. So we'd expect the action to be in the middle, but actually there's not that much difference even in these final cyclically seeded heats. There's only, 14 seconds or so between all of the swimmers on their entry times. Strong Stranraer swimmer. And so often the way, when you've got one strong swimmer in a cubby, you'll find that there are going to be several, and we saw a strong showing in the previous heat in the 200 metres breaststroke. But Miriam Gibb looking really good down this third length. Still closest to her, we have got a bit of an arrowhead formation. Leonie Bedborough from Incas.
Yep, so Mirren fourth in the Festival of Swimming last summer. Leonie second in East District age groups. Also making a bit of a move in lane 3 is the Shetlander Orla Henderson. Fifth in North District age groups, but won their spring meet in Inverness in February. So this is getting a bit tight now, 7 or 8 tenths. Leonie a little bit faster than Mirren in that last 50, but certainly in a place where she could challenge down this last length, and so could Orla. The three of them now have a bit of a contest going on, and of course the natural tendency is very much to race it, and that's what they're doing. And Orla is pushing on very strongly in lane 3. Can Mirren hold her at bay? Can Leonie come through in between them both and sneak it? Still tight as they come into the final 5 meters. I think Mirren still has the edge, but it's going to be on the touch. Let's see who gets it. It is Mirren. She held her nerve nicely there under a lot of pressure. 2:59.45 to take the win. Orla just behind her, 2:59.72. Leonie just over the 3 minutes. She'll be disappointed about that, I guess. 3:00.01, but well, maybe she'll get a spot in the final to get under that 3 minutes. Let's hope so.
Really good battle between those three girls over the last couple of lengths there, really. Mirren Gibb lucky to hold on. I think at the end she was fading, but she must have timed that really nicely just to get there in front.
So second of the cycle seeded heats, heat number 6. Josie Grimes of Warrender in 0, Eva Robertson of Highland in 1, Kezia McCappin of first in 2, Jessica Kirkwood of Aberdeen Performance in 3, Sydney Boyd in the green cap for Midlothian in 4, Madeline Patterson of City of Glasgow in 5, Carrie Preacher of Lerwick in 6, Ellie Kennedy goes for City of Glasgow in 7, Emily Jackson goes for Newcastle in 8, and Manon Shembry in lane 9 for Perth City.
Really good start from Ellie Kennedy, City of Glasgow, in lane 7, but she hasn't got the same speed as the swimmers in the centre lanes in the water during the swim, and it's Sydney Boyd from Midlothian and Madeline Patterson from City of Glasgow now battling this one out. So less than a second between them, but it's the green cap in lane 4, fastest seed. Entry time 3 seconds faster than Madeline Patterson alongside her. Does look between these two, although Ellie Kennedy coming back again, City of Glasgow in lane 7. So these swimmers out in front, sandwiched between the two Glasgow caps in lane 6, Carrie Preacher from Lerwick, another Shetland swimmer.
Yeah, Sydney Boyd is a swimmer who's made a lot of progress since we got back into the water after lockdown, and part of the Midlothian contingent that are here. Probably the strongest Midlothian contingent we've seen for a long, long time competing in this year's national age groups. 1:23.54 for Sydney, leads by about 8 tenths. Madeline Patterson in second. Madeline from the City of Glasgow won the West District pre-stags meet, also won the West District short course age groups, so she's not used to being in second place. And see if she can claw this back. She's having a go at Sydney, certainly not that 3 second gap that the time or the entries suggest.
Now, Sydney looks like she's working quite hard to keep her hold of the lead in this race. Madeline Patterson, on the contrary, is looking pretty comfortable and strong in second place. But it belies it. You know, you never know how much a swimmer has saved for that final length. But Madeline getting a little bit more off of her turn as well. But Sydney Boyd obviously extremely determined down this final length, so she's still got 35 to go. But it is between these two. Having said that, Carrie Preacher coming on really nicely there in lane 6, representing Lerwick. It's the first time we've seen her in the top 3, and she's storming down this fast 25. And now into first place, though, Madeline Patterson from City of Glasgow, and it's Carrie Preacher perhaps closest to her. Sydney Boyd not given up. But it looks like it's going to be the City of Glasgow swimmer. Madeline Patterson's been second most of all the way through, but I mean, she's a body length ahead now. She's going to touch there first in 2:56.07. 4 seconds inside that 3-minute mark. 2:57.03, Carrie Preacher taking second. Ellie Kennedy in third place, 2:57.65.
Yeah,
Sydney Boyd, I was wondering if there was going to be a correction to that time, because I didn't think she was that far back. We do seem to be having a few problems in lane 4.
Yeah, but she'll be, I think, disappointed with that swim, because entered on 2:52, so I don't think we'll be terribly happy with the 2:58, and that might put her on the cusp as to whether she'll make that 14-year-old final, but we'll see. Hopefully she will. One more heat to go.
Yeah, so this is the final heat in the girls 200 metres breaststroke. In lane 0, Ella Thompson, Perth City. In lane 1, Emma Silcock first. Lane 2, Melissa Menny, City of Glasgow. In lane 3, Freya Beaton, City of Glasgow. Lane 4, Zara Kravich from East Lothian. In lane 5, Alice Cumming, City of Glasgow. Lane 6, Ellen Denny, Geary. In 7, Neve Quinn, Kintyre. Lane 8, Addison Cole, South Lanarkshire. And in lane 9, Olivia Flockhart from East Lothian. So some of these swimmers have actually already been in the water this morning, haven't they? They were competing in the 14 to 16-year medley relay. Don't know if that will have helped them or not. We haven't got much or a very big swim down pool here, so they may not have come in for the warm-up early at 8 o'clock and electing just to come in a little bit later to swim in the final event of the morning.
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? You wouldn't get much benefit from a warm-up 3+ hours before your swim, so I imagine they would have gone into, as you say, quite a small pool, 4x25 pool that's just behind that blue screen that you can see on the left-hand side. But it's Zara Kravis, the winner of the 50 breaststroke, and yesterday she picked up a silver medal as well yesterday, but she'll be looking to win this. She goes in the 13 age group. Beside her in lane 5, Alice Cumming is in the 14s. And Zara is part of this very successful East Lothian outfit that's sitting third behind the two big guns after day 1's competition. And Zara certainly is contributing very well to her team's point scores, and we'll be looking to do the same here in this 200 breaststroke. Turns 1:25.32. That's not as fast as we saw in the previous heat. Of course, at that stage it was Sydney Boyd, and she faded a bit in the second half, but we'll see what happens with Zara. Still has Alice Cumming not far away from her, within about a body length or so, and lane 3 and lane 7 not far away either. Freya Beaton in 3, Neve Quinn in 7. Great to see Kintyre swimmers up here at the top end of the heats.
Yeah, Neve Quinn very strong down that second length, and in fact touched in second place, just ahead of the second place swimmer now, Alice Cumming, but hasn't been able to hold it on through length 3. Quite often a telling length at midway mark, and just having to hang on to the end, but not close enough to the end to be able to really go for it. But Zara Kravich looking really strong down the final length, and her lead now extending to about 5 metres or so. And the two City of Glasgow swimmers it is battling it out for second place. That's Freya Beaton and Alice Cumming. And there's nothing between the two of them, but Zara Kravich, East Lothian, entered on 2:50. She's got 15 metres to go. She's not going to get inside that time. And I think it is just Freya Beaton just moving ahead now, perhaps into second place, although mighty close at the finish. Zara Kravich there touching 2:56.56, just inside the 3 minutes, and just outside Freya Beaton and Alice Cumming almost together. Just outside 3 minutes and 0.52 for Freya Beaton, 3 minutes and 0.74 for Alex Cumming. That was close.
Yes, it was, and of course rivals within the team, teammates of team rivals. So confirmation of that final heat. Zara Kravitz taking it. And then the two Glasgow girls on 300. And we should see the summary coming up shortly. Here it is. Oh no, it isn't. It's the lineup for the first of our 2 heats of 200 butterfly. So we're straight into that now. Just the 2 heats here. So most of these swimmers will go through. 1 or 2 of the 14-year-olds will miss out on the place in the final. But so this is a bit of a funny one, isn't it? Certainly for the 13-year-olds that they know that as long as they swim a clean swim here, they're through to the final. So what do you do? Do you save yourself or do you push on?
No, I mean, we spoke about that this morning with the individual medley for the 400. It actually saps more of your energy trying to swim butterfly slowly. So don't take it slow, just take it long and strong. But you certainly want to put in a strong stroke. It's disappointing that there's only 2 heats here. I was just adding up all the 13-year-olds, and I think there are only 7. In fact, one of the 13-year-olds is actually not 13; he's 12. But it is sad. I mean, you've got to make sure that your turns are legal. Obviously, for the butterfly, that means that your arms have got to recover over the surface of the water, even though you're feeling really tired at the end of the length. And your hands need to touch at the same time. They don't need to be at the same level or anything like that, but they've got to be simultaneous.
So just going through the lineup in this first heat, we've got Lewis Maxwell-Pauls in 0 for Warrender, Jed Armitage of Highland in 1, Tristan Robin of City of Glasgow in 2, Archie MacArthur of Inverclyde in 3, Ross Anderson of East Lothian in 4, just ahead of him in lane 5, Tom Jeffords of Wren 96, in 6, Ewan Stevenson of First, Daniel Hendry of City of Glasgow in 7, Sam Cool of Steprock in 8, and Matthew Piotek of Aberdeen Performance in lane 9. So it is Tom and Ross, followed by Archie. 1, 2, 3. Nice little diagonal from lane 5 through to lane 2, with Tristan in 4th place. Approaching the 150. 149.34 plays 149.79.
It looks like that little line has all been wrecked now. Lane 4 coming through, Ross Anderton, East Lothian, with a very strong turn and first half of that final 50 metres.
And Archie MacArthur right there with him in the white cap. Maybe he's got the edge here. In fact, I think he definitely does now. It's a really strong final 50. The 13-year-old is going to win this one, really setting the pace in that last 50. So we talked about him being guaranteed place in the final, but he wasn't taking anything for granted there. 2:29.78, so nicely done from Archie. Well inside, 8 seconds inside his entry time.
Yeah, Ross Anderton just sneaking under his entry time as well. So well done to those swimmers. That's a big event, really, that 200 metres butterfly. Let's say I don't think it's as hard as 200 metres backstroke, but here we go.
Okay, answers on a postcard, please. Which is harder? Addressed to Lynn Alderton, care of Scottish Swimming.
200 backstroke wins every day.
Some would say 200 breaststroke.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done that. Actually, I have, but it was a long time ago. Right, so this is our second and final heat. So we did do the cycle heat seeding, even though there's only two heats. So the second fastest swimmer was in the first heat, and the fastest swimmer is in the second heat. In lane 0, we've got Caleb Geddes, North Lanarkshire Swim Team. Lane 1, Luke McCall, Warrender Baths Club. Lane 2, James Kilpatrick from Carnegie. In lane 3, Noah Lucatelli from Warrender Baths Club. Lane 4, Jamie Beach from Newcastle. And in lane 5, Oscar Churnside Geary. Lane 6, Toby Bullock from Midlothian. In 7, Ethan Collins, North Lanarkshire Swim Team. In lane 8, Ishmael Shalaby from Warrender Baths Club. And our 12-year-old Ruben Lees, representing Warrender Baths, goes in lane 9. And unfortunately, I don't know if you caught that, we had a technical infraction in that first heat. Lewis Maxwell Powells, and one of our 13-year-olds has gone from Warren to Bath Club, so that'll be a fairly small final this evening.
So that was the danger, wasn't it? A DQ to stop you getting into the final. That's unfortunate for Lewis. Jamie Beach from Newcastle swim team taking this one out. On paper, he's quite a bit faster than anybody else. In the short course season, he won the age group event for the Northeast region age groups. And he's certainly got the good lead here, 31.79. He's up by about 3 meters from Oscar Churnside of Geary.
Yeah, breathing every stroke, it's something that we associate more with our senior swimmers, breathing every stroke, although I know some coaches are introducing it to their younger swimmers as well. You need that oxygen towards the end of the race, but generally you're looking for the flatter body position and creating less resistance in the water that comes with breathing every 2. Great halfway split though, 109.76 for Jamie Beach. Just the 2.5 seconds ahead of Oscar Churnside from Geary.
But he's looking certainly pretty dominant here. A few Newcastle swimmers have made their way north and west to join us here at Tollcross. Not all of them Scots, and Jamie is not a Scot. So if he does go on to win this evening, he'll be an open champion as opposed to the Scottish national champion. Would open a chance for a gold medal for somebody else as well.
Yeah, Oscar looking good, I think, in lane 5. His entry time, 2:32.71, swam when he finished 3rd in the North District age groups. We have combined age groups in the North District, so 14-15. He would have been swimming in the 14-15 age group. So he may well be our best 14-year-old 200-metre butterfly swimmer from the North, but not 3rd place in 14-15.
But no doubt who's going to take this one with a big win. Jamie Beach, 2:29.14. $2:33.02 for Oscar Churnside. Pretty close to his entry time, 2:34.50 for Toby Bullock. He improves by 3 seconds. A good swim from the Midlothian boy. But 2:29.14, that's nice stuff. Jamie entered at 2:24, so hopefully there's more to come from him tonight. But looked very strong there, and maybe signs that he was just easing back in the last 50.
Yeah, and in the Swim England Northeast, if that's the regional age groups, he may well have done heats and finals before. Some of the regions do heats and finals. Oscar won't have done that in the North District because it's heats only for 200 metres and above, apart from the 200 metres individual medley. So that could hold Jamie in good stead if he's had that experience of heats and finals before. Or maybe he's not expecting a final. Who knows?
I think he'll be expecting a final. I think his coach will have told him exactly what's coming up. So we've got rather more heats in the 100 backstroke that's coming up now for the girls. In total, we've got 7 heats. Have to close it down and reopen it. So just waiting for us to get ourselves sorted, because we've got the little matter of backstroke ledges to organise, and they still haven't actually called the result of that second 200 fly heat, so we'll just wait and see whether that is confirmed, or is there another possible infraction. I don't know, let's see. We'll just have to be patient while the officials do their thing, and well, there we have it, and there is no infraction, so we're good to go. And there's the summary. So Jamie Beach and Archie MacArthur both on 2:29s. So they'll be contesting it. And there's the second group. All the 13-year-olds on that page certainly will be into the final tonight. And now we can move on to the 100 backstroke. the lineup for the first heat. Ciara Finlayson of City of Glasgow in 1, Ailey Fee of East Lothian in 2, Madison Christophorus of Aberdeen Dolphin in 3, Abigail Crawford, City of Glasgow in 4, Jasmine Robertson of Aberdeen in 5, Heidi Carr of Gateshead and Wickham in 6, Emily Dawson of Mulgai and Bearsden in 7, and Kate Nolan of Warrender in lane 8. So just 2 lengths of the pool this time. Nice start in lane 3 from the Aberdeen Dolphin swimmer, Madison Christophorus. Looks like she's edging it at the moment from lane 4, Jasmine, or rather Abigail Crawford, I should say, in lane 4.
Yeah, so Madison looking good there, and she's swimming as a 12-year-old. Won a silver medal in the 50 metres breaststroke. And looking very good on her backstroke too. Closest to her now maybe Abigail Crawford, City of Glasgow. And close behind her in lane 6, Heidi Carr, Gateshead and Wickham. Madison Christophorus looking very strong there, isn't she? Nice long strokes, very smooth.
Yep, nice still head as well. Lane 1, not too far away from the top 3 spots, Ciara Finlayson, but it's going to be Madison. And she comes in 1:15.29, another nice improvement. She did a 1:18 entry time at North District age groups, where she was 3rd, and so taking over 3 seconds off that just a couple of weeks later.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that was only 3 weeks ago, so that's really good.
Abigail Crawford 2nd, Heidi Carr 3rd.
So I can see that they're just reading out the finalists here in Tollcross International Swim Centre. We won't be doing that for you. If you're interested to know if one of your swimmers has reached a final, you will need to check up on Meet Mobile or www.swimscotland.co.uk. That will show you who's reached through to the finals, and they'll be publishing start lists and things like that on there later as well. This is the 2nd heat of the girls' 100 metres backstroke. In lane 0, Isla Petrie, Moni Feith. Lane 1, Ciara Gregg from Falthouse. Lane 2, Kirsten Mackay, Warren de Bath Club. In lane 3, Casey Dixon, South Lanarkshire. Lane 4, Molly Irvin Watson, Stranraer. Lane 5, Juliet Kidd, Dundee City Aquatics. In 6, Emma Miller from Kintyre. In 7, Millie McDonald, North Lanarkshire Swim Team. 8, Lucy Hall, East Lothian. And in lane 9, Abby McInerney from Inverclyde.
So a number of these swimmers, this is their 2nd swim. Certainly that's true of Molly and Juliet in the centre lanes. And Miller, the Kintyre swimmer, setting the early pace.
And that's a really tough call when there's only 2 heats of the 200 metres butterfly separating the girls' events. Doesn't give them much of a breather at all. And like I say, the swim down pool is quite a small one here. Just 4 lanes of 25 metres. So I won't know if they've been able to have a little swim down to prepare or to recover and to prepare for this event. Emma Miller looking strong down this 2nd length as well. Closer to Casey Dixon, blue cap of South Lanarkshire. Looks to be between these 2, although swimming well in 1, Ciara Gregg from Falthouse as well.
Yep, these 3, but maybe just edging it now in lane 3, Casey Dixon. I think she's come through the stronger in the 2nd half and takes the win in 1:16.11. Emma Miller 2nd, Kristen Mackay in 3rd.
Another heat won by a swimmer with 12 on the programme.
Yep, nice stuff from the South Lanarkshire girl. Take that one. Let's wait for confirmation of the result, which hopefully will come up any moment now. Again, there's a little bit of a chat, but it looks like we got a thumbs up from the referee, so should be seeing the result appear. And there it is. Casey, Emma and Kristen, the 1, 2, 3. Number of swimmers on that 1:17 just behind the top 3.
Yeah, so we're moving on to heat 3. Still quite a few to come in lane 0, Kaylee Moulton. Ren 96 in lane 1, Gina Wren, City of Glasgow. Lane 2, Caitlin Reid, Warren de Bath. In lane 3, Emily McDougall, Highland. Lane 4 is Macy Carty from Faulthouse Penguins. In lane 5, Sophie Allison, Western Bartonshire. In 6, Alice Perry, Warren de Bath. Lane 7, Aileen McNichol from Burnt Island. In lane 8, Chloe Kirk, Mulgine, Burston, and Hannah Yao in lane 9, representing Aberdeen Performance. Very strong start there from Caitlin Reid in lane 2, red cap.
Yep, a number of clubs with red caps, but this particular one, Warrender. Caitlin setting the pace, as you said. 5th in East District age groups. Swan long course at the Commonwealth Pool that same weekend as the North Districts that we talked about earlier. 36.64 though, Sophie Allison just getting the touch.
Yeah, and you could see there really the benefit of a good turn, because Caitlin Reid was easily in front as she approached to the wall. But she slowed down and she actually turned really, really close, almost banged her bottom on the time pads there. And lane 4, in contrast, got a very good turn.
Now, I got excited this morning that there might be a lane 0 winner, and I think we might be on for it this evening, are we?
No, we're not.
Oh, no. Lane 8 takes it. Chloe Kirk. In fact, lane 0, only 4th place in the end. Got me excited for a while there.
Yeah, nothing against lane 8, of course. That was a smashing swim from Chloe Kirk, really strongly down that last leg. I know you've been rooting for lane 0 all the way through. We do see those smokers come through, but we just haven't today. So Chloe Kirk taking that one, Mulgine, Burston in 1:16.74, Macy Carty in 2nd, and Alice Perry in 3rd place.
Yeah, if you weren't with us this morning, we had a number of near misses in lane 0. We've seen some wins from lane 9 over the 2 days of competition we've had so far, but none from lane 0 yet. So I'm just gunning for the swimmers in lane 0 to get it done for us sometime this afternoon. But who knows? We'll see.
Well, let's see if Leonie Bedborough can do that. She goes in 0 for Incas in heat 4. Emma Jupp in lane 1 from Aberdeen Performance. Caitlin Parnaby, lane 2, Elgin. In lane 3, Ella Garrow Forres. In 4, Rosie Heaps, Faulthouse. Lane 5, Poppy Shaw representing the best team. In lane 6, Chloe Semple, South Lanarkshire. Lane 7 is Kirsty Breakin representing Aberdeen Dolphins. In lane 8, Emily Easton, South Lanarkshire, and Lisa McNair from First is in lane 9. They were not onto the seeded heats, but it is the centre lanes that are showing strongly down this first leg. Rosie Heaps and Poppy Shaw between these two at the moment, but it's actually really close across the whole of the field.
Chloe Semple, in fact, just getting the touch there from Rosie and Poppy. But, well, lanes 4, 5 and 6, you think, but maybe lane 1 as well. Emma Jupp in the mix. They're the ones, perhaps. Is it the blue cap?
I think it's the blue cap. Really, really fast turnover from her on her turn. Rotated around really quickly and got a great push off, and that put her out in front. And I think this is going to be, I'm going to say Chloe Semple, you know. I think she's got this one in the bag.
Yeah, good swim from lane 1 from Emma Jupp. She's going to get 2nd place, but it is Chloe taking the win. 1:16.68, just a touch faster than the previous heat.
So still the first heat the fastest. That's unusual, isn't it? So 1:15.29 we saw in the first heat. I think that's the fastest we've seen so far this afternoon.
Take a bow, Madison Christophorus. Your time's still up there. Lisa McNair, in fact, getting 2nd from Emma Jupp there. 1:17.52 and 1:17.58 respectively. So lane 9 getting it done there in 2nd place. There's the lineup for heat 5. Summer Langan of Gateshead and Wickham in 0. Leah Rafferty of Western Bartonshire in 1. Mirren McConnell of Inverclyde in 2. Eve Wood of Orkney in 3. Neve Savory of Newcastle in 4. Layla Weatherspoon of Hearts in 5. Amber Littlejohn of Aberdeen Dolphin in 6. Millie Colvin of Stranraer in 7. Ailsa Rogers, Durham City in 8. And Addison Cole, South Lanarkshire in lane 9.
Yes, I was looking at the caption. I won't take long, Duncan, I know, because you want to talk about the race, but just looking at the caption there, they used the 4-letter code for the clubs. so that we could see which clubs the swimmers were representing. And West Dunbartonshire is WDDX. That's always confused me. I don't know where the DD comes from. I certainly remember when I was announcing early doors that I was thinking that that was Dumfries Dolphins, but apparently not. It's West Dunbartonshire, WDDX.
Can't help you there, but if you know the answer, you can let us know. Layla Weatherstone in second behind Niamh Severy, who's looking very dominant here. This is the first of the cycle-seeded heats. Niamh Severy third in the Northumberland and Durham County Championships, and certainly going to be a very comfortable winner here. Entry time is 1:09.6, and she's going to be inside that, so nicely done, Niamh. 1:08.51. Layla Weatherspoon taking second, 1:11.51. She's also inside her entry time. Ailsa Rogers third in 1:14.68. And she's also inside her entry time by a second, so some nice PBs from the ones on the front. Nice to see Orkney here at the National Age Group Championships. Haven't seen too much from Orkney over a number of years, so great to see them bringing swimmers into the national.
Yeah, they've got a relatively new head coach, Inga Burton, who's working with a fairly comprehensive team of coaches in Orkney. Orkney took advantage of the lockdown to train a lot of their coaches, which we were doing remotely. It's obviously a big challenge for them to come to the mainland for several weekends for coaching courses, and being able to do some online delivery supported by some delivery on the mainland and some actually in Orkney, where the tutors travelled out to Orkney, has meant that they've been able to upskill their coaching staff. And it's nice to see they've got several swimmers down.
Yep, good stuff. On to Heat 6. We have Eva Smith of Aberdeen Performance in 0, Imogen Lowe of South Aberdeenshire in 2, Erin Coulter of South Lanarkshire in 3, Natalie Langan, Gateshead and Wickham in 4, Melissa Menny of City of Glasgow in 4, Madison Cool of Bucky in 5, Isla Wetton East Lothian in 6, Emma Silcock of First in 7, Madison Stewart of Aberdeen Performance in 8, and Evie Mackey of South Lanarkshire in lane 9. 33.76, and a clear leader here, Melissa Menny. Not as fast as Niamh was in the previous heat, about a second back on that time. Again, we're getting a nice swim out of lane 0. Eva Smith of Aberdeen Performance. She's looking good for second place. It's going to be Melissa Menny taking the win. She does that in 1:09.84. Pretty close to her entry time of 1:09.6.
Yeah, Melissa has really come on just over the last 6 months or so. We see her practically improving her times every time she gets in the water. I think that 1:09.6 may well be a converted time, so that could be a fast time for her. So Eva Smith, really strong performance for Aberdeen Performance, swimming in the 13-year age group in lane 0.
But she didn't win it.
Her time will come.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. And there's the full result. Third place, as I said, Eva Smith. Madison Cool just getting in front of her by 300ths in 1:12.93, the Bucky swimmer.
So on to our final heat then. We've got some cracking swimmers in here. So in lane 0, we've got Freya Dand, Midlothian. In lane 1, Isla Gilmurray, Dundee City Aquatics. Lane 2, Madeline Patterson, City of Glasgow. In lane 3, Erin Ferris from North Lanarkshire Swim Team. In lane 4, Kiana Kurtzer from Warren de Bath Club. In lane 5, Coco Croxford, City of Glasgow. In lane 6, Phoebe Arbuckle, Warren de Bath. In 7, Isla Dobson from Kingston. Lane 8, Anna Lawson from East Lothian. And in lane 9, Ailsa Clubb, Aberdeen Dolphins. Just the 113-year-old, Anna Lawson, East Lothian in lane 8. Kiana Kurtzer in lane 4. I think we'd expect her to take this one, would we? I mean, her entry time is 6 seconds faster than anybody else in the water, although Coco Croxford looking good.
Yeah, just as they went up towards that turn and then through it, Kiana starting to take control. 32.46 is the fastest halfway split we've seen. Kiana, of course, has got a huge program this week, so she's going to have to pace herself. She can't blast it every heat and every final. So otherwise, I think she runs the risk of burning out before the 5 days of competition are over. But I think she's taking this pretty sensibly here. She's entered on 105. She's not on that pace, but takes the win comfortably, 108.12. And that is the fastest qualifier for the 14-year-old final to come, assuming that that result is confirmed.
So best time there for Coco Croxford, 1:10.34. So she's a second faster than her entry time. And I think that must put her through. Was it third place? I think we saw her 109, didn't we, in the previous heat?
We saw the 108 from Neve Savory in the 2 heats ago, and then 109 last heat. So she'll definitely be there.
Yeah.
And in fact, that is the summary there, and you can see comfortably in the top 10 as we run our way through. Reminder, of course, you can get all the results from Meet Mobile, available on all Apple and Android devices, and also from Swim Scotland if you're going on the web, www.swimscotland.org.uk or .co.uk. I think you can use either.
They both
get there.
They both work. Yep, they both work. So we're going down to the turn end of the pool. I haven't heard them do a practice start yet, so just to let parents know that on Saturday and Sunday afternoon, 12:30 to 1:15, we have Hannah Miley. She'll be in the Edrom Suite here at Tollcross Centre. So if you've got a swimmer swimming in the afternoon, pop along to that beforehand, 12:30 until 1:15. And if you've got a 15-year-old swimmer swimming in the morning session, just hang on for a little bit longer and have a chat with Hannah. She'll be talking about swimmer development, athlete development for 12 to 15-year-olds.
And you couldn't ask for a better person to lead that discussion than Hannah. She will be both informative and entertaining. So the first of the 7 heats of 50 breaststroke, Oliver King, Rory Vick, Hamish Maxwell, Kaiwan Duan, Cameron Beck and Archie Stevenson. Fairly close here, entry times 41s to 42s. And maybe just the Warrender swimmer Rory Vick in lane 3, but it's going to be a close one, and there's a number of swimmers who could just get the touch here, including in lane 4, Hamish Maxwell, but it is Rory who gets it, 40.59.
And you called that one a long way out. Well done.
I sort of doubted myself near the end, though, with Hamish coming up at him, but Rory finishing well, actually, there, 40.59, and Hamish second, Kai Wen third.
Heat 2, 0 George Stevenivski, 1 Fraser Gamble, 2 Lyndon Ferty, 3 Cameron Jolly, 4 Cammy McMillan, 5 Joe Crawford, 6 Fergus Reid, 7 Kai Fern, 8 Ryan Crabb, and in 9 Tyler Morris. Cracking start there in lane 7 from Kai Fern. Aberdeen Dolphins, we saw his brother win a couple of events yesterday. Swimming through well now in 5 though. We've got Joe Crawford, he's representing Scotia. So Kai Fern, a very strong start, but he's starting to get caught by the fastest swimmers in the water in the middle. Swimming well on the far side, I think we've got George Stevenivski in lane 0, Fraser Gamble in 1 and Lyndon Ferty in 2, and it's really very close. I fancy you're going to have your first lane 0. I don't want to jinx it, but I think he's just going to get there.
Whoa, no, he didn't.
Just pipped 9/100ths. I shouldn't have mentioned it. Joe Crawford taking that one, 39.31. In lane 5, in lane 0, George Stevenivski from Stranraer. Fraser Gamble coming through for third, 30.19.
In fact, tie for third there, 40.19, Kai Fern as well.
Good job.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be lane 0's time there, but, well, not quite, but very close.
Heat 3 then, 0 Max Turnbull, 1 Lucas Craw, 2 Archie McDonald, 3 Alex Taylor, 4 Stepan Snastyuk, 5 Duncan Curry, 6 Finley Bennett, 7 Jimmy Lynn, 8 Joe Carty, and then 9 Tyler Coots. South Lanarkshire swimmer Finley Bennett. Again, it's too close to call. We're also swimming well in 3, Alex Taylor, East Lothian. I think it's the South Lanarkshire cap just in front there. Finley Bennett swimming in the 13-year age group. I think he's going to come through and take this one. In fact, as he comes towards the finish, it looks as though it is going to be him quite clearly. So Finley Bennett just going to come through, take that third heat, and his time is 36.96. And unfortunately, a technical infraction there in lane 3. Second place going to Tyler Coots, 37.94. And in third, over in lane 0, Max Turnbull.
That's a great time from Finley Bennett there, entered on 39.60. So to take that down to 36.9, that's impressive stuff. Tyler Coots, Max Turnbull also getting good PBs. All those swimmers in 38s were well inside their inch times. So nice done, a nice fast heat, that one.
Yeah, so that was our jinxed heat this morning, wasn't it? Heat 3, where we saw a full start in the 50 metres breaststroke and a recall.
Yeah, the recall that some of the swimmers studiously ignored and charged down the pool only to find nobody else was with them. There's 2 or 3 of them went to the end, and
they did get a breather.
Gone.
They did get a breather.
Yeah.
I think that result is confirmed, but I'm going to give you the runners and riders for Heat 4 now. In lane 0, Riley Griffin. 1, Ishmael Shalaby. In 2, Fraser van der Meulen. 3, Adam Cool. In 4, Ross Hutchinson. 5, Andrew Brackenridge. In 6, George Hodgkinson. 7, Theo Adibo. In 8, Lewis Hay. And in lane 9, Lewis Lothian. So and they're up behind the blocks, but I'm not sure what the delay is there, do you know?
Yeah, there's obviously something going on that is causing them to hold this race up.
It's a shame because the swimmers are ready and standing up on the bulkhead.
Looks like we're good to go now, though.
So the 7 heats of this event. So this is the last heat that is deck seeded before we move on to our cyclically seeded heats. A fairly even break, strong start in lane 8 from Burnham, Lewis Hay. Centre lane starting to move through now in lane 4, Ross Hutchinson from Monifieth. Monifieth Midland Club, doing very nicely here at this meet. Andrew Brackenridge alongside in North Lanarkshire. We've got a very low camera angle there, very difficult to see what's going on in the pool. And it's very close indeed. So Ross Hutchinson just taking that one from a fast finishing Fraser van der Meulen. Just 5 100ths between the pair of them.
Again, some nice PBs there. The swimmers entered in 38.9 up to 39.5, so you can see 7 of those swimmers well inside that time, led by Ross Hutchinson, 36.79. So Fraser, that's a very nice time there, just behind him. So 3 heats to go in Heat 5. There's the lineup: Ashton Kerridge of Glenrothes, Aidan McCavish of First, Alexander McGregor of Perth, Conor Christophorus of Aberdeen Dolphin, Josh Elliott of Hearts, Dean Fern of Aberdeen Dolphin, Sam Cool, Step Rock, Cameron Hastings, Aberdeen Performance, Toby Bullock of Midlothian, Aaron Machin, City of Glasgow. So we've got the breaststroke specialist Josh Elliott and the all-round superstar Dean Fern. Also going well in 3, Conor Christophorus, also from Aberdeen Dolphin, but it's going to be Josh who's looking really aggressive here down the pool, absolutely telling the water who's boss there. 32.68. Wow. Josh Elliott there, that was a super swim from him. He was entered 33.40, so takes a good chunk off that for a 50.
Did he win the 200 yesterday?
Yeah, I think so.
No, that was smashing. Conor Christophorus touching in second. Dean Fern there in 4th place. Breaststroke perhaps not his thing, but giving it a go. Sam Cool taking 3rd. penultimate heat then, second of our seeded heats. In lane 0, Finley Byrne from first, 1, Aidan Bruce. In lane 2, Kenzie McLean, 3, Dylan Mitchell, 4, Ewan Weir. In 5, Corey Phillip, 6, Craig Shaw. In lane 7, Harry Sharp. In 8, Ethan George, and in lane 9, Kyle Connolly. Yeah, so very late with the raising the hips in lane 6, the South Lanarkshire swimmer. I think that just unsettled the starter there. Have a little delay.
Yeah, so the best thing is to just put them down, get them start again, settle everything down.
If the equipment's working properly, then we'll just see one long whistle to ask the swimmers. They're already ready, so we don't need those short, sharp whistles. What that means is, swimmers, you need to get ready, remove your clothing and get ready to get up on the blocks. In reality, these younger swimmers especially are already going to be ready to go. But that long whistle asks the swimmers to take up their position for the start at the front of the block. Right, so the starter there showing, you can see showing the referee a red light, which means that we're not ready, or the timing system's not ready to go yet.
So I think it's the first time we've seen them get up and down twice at the beginning of a race. That must be a bit unsettling for these swimmers. So they're just going back to the back, and in fact, well, somebody is walking back down. So what's that about? That was one of the Dundee swimmers, I think.
Yeah, they may be looking for something warm to put on, not knowing really how long it is that they're going to be waiting around there at the turn end. It's a problem that's not necessarily resolved yet. Oh, it looks like it is.
So he went and got his T-shirt, and now doesn't have time to put... Oh, he's putting it on anyway.
I hope he's not going to swim in it.
Oh, he got it over his head.
It's very colour coordinated, isn't it? You know, pink top, pink hat, pink shorts.
Do these things right in Dundee.
So we've got two Dundee City swimmers in the middle in the classic pink caps on the fastest entry time. So not a lot in it between them. So both coming in on 33 seconds. The rest of the swimmers, 35, the fastest of the rest, and it is the fastest seed in this one, Ewan Weir, 33.38. He didn't get, well, he wasn't putting on his T-shirt, was he? It was alongside him, Corey Phillip, who was putting on his T-shirt, but they're not wasting any time coming into the finish. 32.45, smashing swim.
So that was faster than Josh Elliott in the previous heat. So good stuff from Ewan Weir. Won the North District age groups in 33.38, so taking 9/10 off that today. Corey Phillip, good time from him as well, 33.02, that's a big PB. Aidan Bruce, 34.85 in third.
Yeah, doing that from lane 1. Well done, Aidan. Final heat in lane 0, Aaron Elric, South Aberdeenshire. In 1, Dean Bogatti, South Lanarkshire. 2, Johnny Martin, Kinross. In 3, Lewis Gibson, North Ayrshire. 4, Tobin Rowan from Dubai. In lane 5, Gregor Ross, City of Glasgow. 6, Callum MacArthur. 7, Caleb Simpson. 8, Fraser Dow, and in 9, Lachlan Small. A yellow cap in the centre belonging to Torben Rowan. Entry time fastest into the meet, 33.06. Working well alongside him, Gregor Ross from City of Glasgow. And between these two, but I fancy it's going to be Torben Rowan. It's just going to come through. Is he going to be the fastest through to the final, though? We've got 2 swimmers on 32. I don't think that time's right.
No, he'd love it if it was.
Oh, I'd love that too. Obviously, is a problem with the starting system. They'll sort that out in the box. So what they'll do is they'll work out how far. I mean, obviously the finish order looks correct. So first place swimmer. Let's get a photo, Duncan. First place swimmer Torben Rowan. Second place Gregor Ross, and in third Callum MacArthur. But the times are not quite right.
So there's going to need to be a bit of sorting out, I think, for that, because the likelihood is that the times from the backup buttons will also be affected by that. So they probably will have to go to the manual times. In fact, I can see somebody collecting the manual times from each of the timekeepers across the lane. So they run those top watches for a reason, and this is exactly when they're needed. Something obviously happened there, and so those stopwatch times is probably what we're going to have to go with for that final heat.
Yeah, they may be able to work it out with the electronics, because it sounds like the starting system wasn't armed correctly, but they will be able to use that delay. So if we assume, we're going to assume, but they're going to be able to actually calculate it, that say Torben Rowan came in 32.5 seconds, everybody will have 11 seconds added to their time. And that will mean that the finish order is correct and the times are correct as well, but it's going to take a little bit of sorting out. So if the starter doesn't start the timing system at the same time as the swimmers hear the button, it's a good referee's question.
Yes, it's strange because obviously normally the starting signal would automatically start the timing system. So how that happened, I'm not very clear in my own mind. But anyway, it did happen, and the
it's a common question on referees' exam papers, but not one you want to throw in at Scottish national age groups, really.
So officials obviously will sort that out. They're now moving back to what we normally know as the start end, and we're into a 400 IM, so something a bit different from the 50s we've just seen. Back to the girls, we've got 4 heats in this one, and you can see there the swimmers going off in the first of those 4 heats, and the lineup is Gemma Coates of South Aberdeenshire in lane 2, her teammate Imogen Lowe beside her in lane 3, Lisa McNair of first in 4, Isla Kay of South Aberdeenshire in 5, Sophia Faloni of Monifeith in 6, and Lucy Morgan at Aberdeen Performance in lane 7. So we saw in the IMs this morning quite a lot of movement from stroke to stroke, didn't we? With swimmers going out hard in the first half, and then maybe breaststroke proves their undoing and people come through, and sometimes we saw them then being able to recover in the freestyle and sometimes not. So I think we probably shouldn't pay too much regard to how it's working out at this stage early on with Sophia, Lucy and Isla, the front runners.
It's looking like a race of 2 sides though at the moment, isn't it? With the swimmer side, lanes 5, 6 and 7 clearly leading. But as you say, I mean, we quite often get different strengths for the swimmers, and fly, back and free quite often work together, and that breaststroke stroke, it's a specialist stroke, and it just depends on how far behind those breaststrokers are, those specific breaststrokers. But you'd imagine that these coaches, because the age of the swimmers, are going to be working on all 4 strokes at once. There's no finals for these. It's only the 15 to 18s that get finals, so this is heat declared, so we'll be looking for the medalists from these events. Moving into the backstroke now, 1:18.76 it was after 100 metres. But Sophia Falone looking pretty good from Monifeith. Entry time 6:05.4, and to either side of her in second and third, Isla Kay from South Aberdeenshire and Lucy Morgan, Aberdeen Performance. They've opened up a 5 metres or so. Well, it's spread out, isn't it?
Yep, 2:06.09 there for Sophia. Seems the 47.3, so Isla Kay pacing a little bit faster by about half a second or so. But still, these 3 led by Sophia. The other 3, so what's the gap? About 8 metres between first and fourth. So it's certainly not impossible to make that up in the second half. Just reserve judgment, I think, at this stage. But looking good so far for Sophia, Monifeith swimmer. And she was second back in November at the Midlands Autumn Meet. And she is leading at the halfway point, 2:53.82. Again, we see Isla Kay's split is about a second faster. And then Lisa McNair there, 45.0. So keep an eye on her. Got a nice pacing in the latter stages of that backstroke.
Yeah, the 3 swimmers over on the spectator side are having a good little battle, and I think that that's helping to draw them along. We spoke about turns this morning, and we saw, in fact, flip turns there from the 4 swimmers over on the near side. So lanes 4, 5 and 6 all flipped, did that backwards somersault, and lanes 2 and 3, both South Aberdeenshire swimmers. Just a tuck turn, quite common on the longer distance events because it does take it out of you. And if you want your swimmers to be able to maintain their streamline or to do a long pull out and get the benefit of that one stroke that you're allowed off the wall, all the way back to the hips on the breaststroke, then you certainly want to make sure that they've got enough energy to do that. So a tuck turn may be their preference. But Sophia's still looking good.
She's looking very good. That was a 49.5 split for her first half of the breaststroke, and the others were all on 53. So she's built up her lead very nicely here, and thinking they might come back at her. She's not having any of that. There's good contest developing in the center lanes for second. Lisa in 4 and Isla in 5, pretty much stroke for stroke, maybe just Isla in lane 5, but they're not making any ground whatsoever on Sophia. So our camera focuses on the Montefiore swimmer. Approaching 300. And we'll see what her second split was. 54.53, so quite a lot slower than her first 50 breaststroke. And you can see there, so Lisa 51, Sophia 54. So, well, let's just see how this works in the freestyle. Advantage still clearly with Sophia by quite a big margin. So it seems hard to see anybody getting close to her, but strange things happen in 400 IMs.
Yes, we've said that before, but I mean, she looks pretty good out in front there, doesn't she, Sophia? And she has held this race right from the very beginning. It only seems right, doesn't it, that she should take it at the end, but it doesn't always work that way. Lisa McNair looking good.
So quite a difference in their splits there, 42.5 and 39.7, and there's only 2.3 now between them. So if they keep that differential, then Lisa McNair is going to be right there. And it does look like Sophia is just maybe finding a bit more pace now down this last length, maybe seeing the threat. Maybe she'd save something for this last length, but the gap is definitely narrowing. It's down to about a body length, but where Lisa is going to be able to close that looks very doubtful indeed. In fact, it looks impossible now. So it's going to be Sophia, and a really gutsy swim all the way through, and she's rewarded with a time under 6 minutes. So be very happy with that, I'm sure.
Yeah, 5:59.77 for Sophia. Lisa McNair just outside 6 minutes, 6:01.64. Imogen Lowe, one of the South Aberdeenshire swimmers, they're finishing third.
So as you said, this is a heat declared winner event. So Lisa McNair has set the time there, 6:01.64 for the 13-year-olds. So keep an eye on that as we see the 13-year-olds. There's a few of them in this heat, including one 12-year-old. That's going in that 11 to 13 age group. That's Lucy Fleming in lane 8.
And an 11-year-old.
So there is Abby Coventry, young Abby Coventry from Tynemouth, with the fastest entry time.
So here we are then, heat 2. In lane 0, Leah Rafferty, Western Bartonshire. In lane 1, Ellie Tetlow Geary. Lane 2, Isla Petrie from Montefiore. In lane 3, Rosie Heaps, again from Faulthouse. Lane 4, Abby Coventry, Tynemouth. In 5, Orla Henderson, Shetland. Lane 6, Emma Binney, North Ayrshire. In lane 7, Morgan Higgins, Aberdeen Performance. In lane 8, Lucy Fleming, East Lothian. And in lane 9, Madison Stewart, Aberdeen Performance. First the wall, Rosie Heaps, again.
Yeah, we saw Rosie go out early and fast earlier on. Was that in the 200 fly?
No, because it was a boys 200 fly, wasn't it, this morning?
Well,
yeah.
that would stop that from being the case then. But certainly we did see that earlier. And we'll see, I'm sure she'll have been given her instructions how to swim this from Coach Tom Seavright. And certainly taking it out strong here in the butterfly. Rosie, 7th place in East District age groups. So she'll be looking to see if she can get a higher position in nationals here. 1:17.65, that's the second faster than the first heat. Early on, second Morgan Higgins in lane 7. Then I think it's lane 4, is it? Abby Coventry, the 11-year-old we were talking about from Tynemouth. She is a Scot.
Yeah, I think they're working through the backstroke now. That order remains unchanged just now. Lane 0, Leah Rafferty, looking pretty good on the backstroke, but that's an awful lot of distance that she's going to have to make up if she's going to catch up with Rosie Heaps.
So Rosie there, just keep an eye on the splits there. The intermediate split's 45. You can see that it's faster than Morgan and Madison. In fact, faster than everybody on the backstroke. So Rosie continuing to go very nicely here. Entry time for her is 5:30, 5:56. She'll be happy with 5:36, 5:56.92. 7, still Morgan Higgins in second place, but what, 7-8 meters back.
Yeah, it's quite close. Madison Stewart looks as though she's coming through now for Aberdeen Performance as well. I'm not sure if she's going to touch third. Difficult to tell from this angle. When you're looking at the swimmers over here on the near side, it's difficult to judge. Yeah, so in second place, Morgan Higgins and Madison Stewart, there was touching there in third.
Lovely view of Rose's turn there from back to breast.
So I know that in lane 5, Ola Henderson is a breaststroke swimmer. Emma Binney too, North Ayrshire. Breaststroke is what she does, but they've got an awful long way to catch up with Rosie Heaps.
Yeah, watch out for the intermediate splits here and see whether they are making ground on Rosie. We'll get a feel for that.
Have a look at lane 0 though, Duncan.
Yep, she's going
Leah
well.
Rafferty.
So 49.4 for Rosie. Let's see who's going to touch second. It might be Leah. It is, but 50.4. So Rosie's still swimming faster than anybody else. So it's continuing to look very good for her.
Yeah, so Abby Coventry actually had the fastest split there in lane 4. But she's got a long way to make up. Lane 4 we would have expected to come through in the fastest time. There's not a lot between the entry times here, but she was quite a way back, and she is starting to make her way through on the breaststroke leg, but she's just got too much to make up on Rosie Heaps.
Yep, so Rosie coming to 300 metres. Again, we can check the intermediate splits as well as the cumulative time, 4:29.66, so that was a 51.5. Let's see what Leah and Ola are out, 50.9 and 48. But a long way back here. It's going to be tough, I think, for, well, it's more or less, I think we put it in the impossible stage now for anyone to catch Rosie. The race is on for second.
She's done a really good job, Rosie, actually, because she's been out in front right from the very beginning. We even spoke about her going out hard in previous races. That's obviously what she's trying to do at this meet, and it's really worked out well for her in the 400 IM. She obviously had it in her to pull out a real big swim out of the bag from what she'd done previously, and looking really good and strong down this final length. I'm sure she's delighted there's no final this evening.
Yeah, so 5:56 is her entry time. I think she'll be inside that. Of course, plenty of 14-year-olds to come in the next 2 heats, so this will be about setting the standard. Certainly a strong freestyle from Leah Rafferty. She has wrapped up second place now. She's not going to catch Rosie, but she has made ground, so good stuff from her as well. But Rosie Heaps, a well-deserved win in 5:53.50. Second, Leah Rafferty, 5:55.99. And Ola Henderson and Lucy Fleming both going under 6 minutes, just 500ths apart. 5:59.66 and 5:59.71.
So Lucy Fleming now our fastest 13-year-old swimmer, 5:59.71. There's still 5 13-year-old swimmers to come, but 5:59.71 is now their target, Lucy Fleming.
Yeah, based on the entry times and the heats to come, you'd expect that to be beaten pretty comfortably. But, in this next heat, you can see the lineup there. The times range 5:53 down to 5:41. The 13-year-olds in this one are Gina Wren in 0, Jessica Kirkwood in 4, and then Emma Aitken and Evie Mackey in lane 6 and 7. The full lineup then: Gina Wren, City of Glasgow in lane 0, Emma Jupp of Aberdeen Performance in 1, Macy Carty of Fauldhouse in 2, Ellie Kennedy of City of Glasgow in 3, Jessica Kirkwood, Aberdeen Performance in 4, Mirren Gibb in lane 5 representing Stranraer, Emma Aitken, Aberdeen Performance in 6, Evie Mackey of South Lanarkshire in 7, Melissa Menny, City of Glasgow in 8, and Sophie Allison of Western Bartonshire in lane 9. Early leader, Emmy Aitken in lane 6:34.07. Up there with her in 7 is Evie Mackey, and in 3, Ellie Kennedy. So one from South Lanarkshire, one from a City of Glasgow, chasing the Aberdonian. So we were on 1:17.6, the split at the 100 in Heat 2. This will be faster. 1:15.01. Of course, all these heats and a heat declared winner get deck seeded, so we've got the fastest 10 on paper will go in the final heat. Different from when we're swim heats and finals. Second is the South Lanarkshire swimmer, Evie Mackey. Third, City of Glasgow's Ellie Kennedy. Just behind her, Macy Carty of Fauldhouse. Quite well stretched out, as we saw in the previous heat. Swimmer really taking it out, and this time it is swimmer in lane 6, Emmy Aitken.
Yeah, so 13-year-old Emmy Aitken looking really strong there. She actually looks like she's swimming 100 metres backstroke, not the 100 metres backstroke in the middle of them 400 metres individual medley. I don't know much about her. Can't tell you whether or not breaststroke is her thing, but I mean, at the moment she's looking as though she's going to be well underneath her entry time and winning this heat.
Yeah, it's quite a bit faster on her first half of her backstroke than anybody else, over 2 seconds. So that lead is stretching out nicely here for her. It's getting tighter, particularly for 3rd and 4th place, with Macy Carty trying to catch Ellie Kennedy. Of course, we had Rosie Heaps from Fauldhouse in the previous heat going very nicely, and so Macy Carty will be trying to emulate that. So 2:40.11, now 8.5 seconds faster than the previous heat. So what a good backstroke section that was for Emmy.
Really strong backstroke. She swam 52.5 for the first half of it, and 42.5 for the first half, 42.6 for the second. Remember, we spoke about the importance of trying to negative split or evenly split those different elements of the different hundreds within the 400 IM. And she's just about on target there. Very, very even split.
And she's looking pretty handy on breaststroke as well, has to be said. Holding her lead nicely, looks comfortable in her stroke. Let's see what the intermediate split is on this one. It's a 47.1, so that's pretty handy. Let's see, in second place, Evie, a 48.0, so again, another second picked up there.
Yeah, she looks as though she's safe there for the silver medal, at least. Emmy Aitken with just one 13-year-old coming in the final heat. And, I mean, her entry time, 5:46.8. You know, that's nearly 2 minutes away, and she's only got 100 free and the remaining 25 metres of her breaststroke to go. Really, really strong swim.
Yeah, shame in a way that the 13-year-olds are not all swimming together, and because the 13-year-old was just one to come, as you said, Zara Kravis, of course, we've already seen having some success in these championships, and she'll be watching this, I'm sure, in the call room. She'll be aware of what's going on with Emmy. I don't know, 4:16.24, but she's certainly going to be given quite a challenging time to beat.
Yeah, I mean, it works both ways, doesn't it? Because, I mean, sometimes you're going to have very strong 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds, and you want them to be able to push each other on to the best times that they can possibly achieve. But it depends on whether you consider the competition to be the most important thing. Is it that competition to become the Scottish National Age Group Champion, or is it for you to get your best time? I mean, I think as the Scottish National Age Group Championships, it's a shame that they're not able to race side by side and push each other on. But it doesn't always work that way. But this is a storming swim here from Emmy Aitken. Still closest to her, it's Evie Mackey, South Lanarkshire. Coming through now, Ellie Kennedy, City of Glasgow.
Yeah, so looking at Emmy Aitken, she's coming into the meet on a 5:43. I think she's going to be knocking on the door of 5:30 here. Can she get under it? And that would set a real challenge to Zara Crevice, who's entered on 5:29. So let's have a look at this and see what time she can muster here into the final 5 meters. This has been such an impressive swim, and right on the 5:30, 5:30.53. So Zara will certainly have to be on her A game to beat that.
Yeah, I wonder if she surprised herself there. She looked delighted at the end. Actually kept her head down. I think she tried to put her head down just before the 5-meter flags. Didn't quite manage it, snuck in an extra breath and then put her head down for those last 3 or 4 meters. Really good discipline there.
So that's the time for the 13-year-olds to beat. 5:41.75 is the fastest 14-year-old time. Certainly that, I think, will get beaten in this final heat, but will that Emmy Aitken time? That was a storming swim. I think she should be so pleased with herself on that. I think she executed all parts of that race really, really well. Took it out strong and showed no weaknesses whatsoever through the 4 strokes. So well done, Emmy. Great stuff. Evie Mackey there, as you can see, second, and Ellie Kennedy third.
Yes, I think 5:42.93, the fastest 14-year-old time. Evie Mackey from South Lanarkshire, 13. Final heat then. Just 4 heats of this event, so this is the final one. In lane 0, Ellen Denny, Geary. In lane 1, Kirsten Mackay, Warrington Baths Club. Lane 2, Sydney Boyd, Midlothian. In lane 3, Coco Croxford, City of Glasgow. Lane 4, Kiana Kurtzer from Warrington Baths Club. In 5, Alice Cumming, City of Glasgow. Lane 6, Zara Kravitz, East Lothian. In 7, Freya Beaton, City of Glasgow. In lane 8, Phoebe Arbuckle, Warrington Baths Club. And in lane 9, Madison Cool-Bucky.
So 32.28 and 32.38, Coco and Madison, lanes 3 and 9 respectively. And it is a really good start from the Bucky girl in lane 9. Expect Kiana Kurtz, who you would think to be the favourite here, but at the moment just in 3rd place behind Ellie and Sophie. Keep an eye on Zara Kravis against the splits that we saw from Emmy in the previous heat as well. But coming to the 100, certainly the 14-year-olds are faster, 1:10.98. Madison Cool leading the way. Coco second, 1:11.58. Kiana 1:12.50. Zara Kravis's split 1:14.8, so that's just a tenth and a bit faster than we saw in the previous heat. So we'll keep you posted on how that goes. But at the front now, we are seeing Kiana Kurtzer moving through in the backstroke. Probably is a stronger backstroker than fly swimmer, and we're seeing that, I think. Also, I think perhaps they're just conserving her energy in the fly as big swims to come. Talked about that earlier with her.
Coco Croxford took that fly out really hard, and maybe just to give herself the best advantage that she would possibly have, knowing what a strong backstroke that Kiana Kurtzer has got, that she would have to approach it in that way. But it spoke about in 400 metres individual medley, it's not unusual for girls, unbeknownst to them, not even expecting to do it, putting in a best time for their 100 fly as a split. Strong throwing here in lane 7, so coming through well. That's that Freya Beaton in 7. Just moving past Madison Cool from Bucky. Madison, a strong backstroke swimmer. But Freya Beaton there, City of Glasgow, just coming through into 3rd place. But Kiana Kurtz has given herself quite a big advantage there. 4 seconds, nearly 4 seconds over Coco Croxford during that backstroke.
I could tell you that Zara Kravis's time at that halfway mark, 2:41.5, has now slipped behind the time from Emmy Aitken, so by about a second and a half. So she's going to need a big breaststroke. She is a good breaststroker, so she's going to need that here. Meanwhile, it's looking good for another gold in the 14 age group for Kiana, Coco and Freya, the two from City of Glasgow, second and third. In fact, City of Glasgow fourth as well, with Alice Cumming.
Yeah, so medals will be presented at the end of the session for this one, and the Scottish National Age Group champion recognised. Kiana Kurtz looking good for that, for another National Age Group win as we come towards into the final 25 of the breaststroke, and moving on to the turn towards the freestyle. So with just 100 metres to go at the turn up here at the start end. So in second, I think now that's Coco Croxford. And in third, also City of Glasgow, Freya Beaton.
So Kiana then coming up to the 300, 4:05.87. So about a 49 split there.
Strong breaststroke legs there from Phoebe Arbuckle, Warren DeBath swimmer, and also Zara Kravich looking good. She's moved up through the rankings there on that breaststroke. 4:16.76 it is at 300 metres. 48.49 her split, so one of the fastest in the field.
Still half a second behind Emmy Aitken's 300 split though, so Zara needs to back up that good breaststroke with a good strong freestyle if she is to get gold there. She's swimming off the Alice Cumming there in lane 5, so that might help her really accelerate, but in the 14s it's just about done and dusted, you would think, with Kiana Kurtz, although Coco Croxford pacing a little bit faster, but can't see her catching Kiana. Coco certainly set for the silver medal, and Freya, I think, for the bronze.
And you can see the East Lothian coaching team there urging their swimmer on. And Warren, what a storming finish there it is from Phoebe Arbuckle, really coming through strongly there at the end. But that's the East Lothian team cheering on Zara Kravich.
So Kiana comes in there, 5:19.77 to take the win. Another excellent championship gold medal for her. Second, Coco Croxford, 5:23.77. Third, Freya Beaton, 5:24.63. They'll be the top three 14-year-olds. And you can see there, Zara Kravich, 5:31.58. So that is a second behind Emma Aitken. So Emmy Aitken will be the 13-year-old gold medalist. So well done to her. That storming swim in Heat 3 did the job for her. Zara Kravich not quite able to match that. It was a shame that they weren't swimming head-to-head against each other. That would have been a thriller. But well done to Emmy, and well done to Zara as well. But in the 14-year-olds, it's Kiana, Coco, and Freya, year 1, 2, 3. Just wondering whether we've got there. So Evie Mackey, it looks like, is the bronze medalist in the 13-year-old age group. So well done to Evie as well. So Emmy Aitken, Zara Kravich, Evie Mackey, your top three in the 13-year-olds.
Next event, last individual event of the morning. So 400 metres freestyle for boys. Just the 4 swimmers in this first heat. So in lane 3 we have Kenneth Trainer, South Lanarkshire. In lane 4, Fergus Reid Geary. In lane 5, Adam Selby from Finns. And in lane 6, Kyle Mossman, City of Glasgow.
Some of these boys in the 11 to 13 age group. We'll set the early standard in that. Kyle Mossman setting off at pace, the City of Glasgow swimmer.
Yeah, so he's working hard down this first 50. I hope he'll ease in towards the turn and see what kind of turns they come out with. A great strong push off from him. Not terribly streamlined out in front. I think that's something that his coaches will want to work on. But 33.19 it was for him at the 50-metre mark. Entry times ranging from 5:13, that's a time that belongs to Fergus Reid, out to 5:23. And the two centre times are actually times that have been achieved in a long course pool. We're guessing that the ones on the outside are short course conversions. Swimmer Kenneth Trainer in 3 from South Lanarkshire, and Kyle Mossman from City of Glasgow outside those golden lanes in the lead as we come into the first 100. Kenneth Trainer, they're tracking just a little bit faster split than Kyle Mossman. 1:11.56. Kenneth half a second behind is Kyle Mossman. I'm starting to see Fergus Reid from Geary moving through now. So the fastest seed, 13 years. Adam Selby actually only 12, the Finn swimmer. It's really extremely close coming down this third 50. Still Kenneth Trainer from South Lanarkshire.
Yep, he's split there 39.5, so Fergus a little bit faster than that, 39.1. He's now within a second of Kenneth. And the other two not too far away, so just 2 seconds between the 4 of them. Perhaps Adam Selby, the one who's most risk of getting detached. See if he can hang on, the 12-year-old from Finns. But still, it's Kenneth in lane 2.
Yeah, Kyle went out really hard on that first 50, and I think he used the second 50 as a bit of a recovery, and he's starting to find his own now. He's starting to find his rhythm, and he's starting to look a bit more comfortable, and the front of the race is really closing up now.
Yeah, and Fergus perhaps is the one who's looking maybe as comfortable as well. Certainly Kenneth is working awfully hard to hold on to his lead, but he's pushing it hard, and if anything, maybe just starting to build his lead up again down the length here. So fair play to him. He's not going to surrender this lead lightly.
Yeah, 2:31 here it was at the halfway mark. I mean, if he can manage to hold that down the second leg, he's going to be looking at a time inside 5:10 on an entry time of 5:21. That would be very impressive. And the field spread out again. We all came together as we came up towards the start end, and we've all spread out again, moving down towards the turn. We've got a little line of boys there. Kenneth Trainer, closest to the spectators. He's, I think he's moving ahead now again, isn't he, down this as we come towards 300.
Yeah, he certainly had the fastest split going to the 250, but let's see whether Fergus can bring it back again. Looks like he's the one most likely to mount a challenge. Kyle Mossman maybe just fading a little bit, is he? I don't know, maybe I'm calling that too early, but there's about, 2 meters between them with 100 to go, and not much between them on their relative splits, all 3 of them, all in the mid-40s. 3:50.59 then is the 300 time, so let's see whether Kenneth Trainer can hold this. Certainly at the moment you would not bet against him.
He's lifting his head very high to breathe. I mean, that's not such an unusual thing. It can be inefficient, but we've seen some of the fastest swimmers in the world. Janet Evans used to lift her head up very high when she was turning her head to breathe. I don't think he's of that caliber just yet, but he might do well just to turn his head with the roll of his body, just to provide that little bit more efficiency and a bit more streamline. But having said that, he's looking really good coming down this final length and starting to extend his lead. He's paced it pretty well, actually, you know, 39s and 40s all the way through. May not have had that much of a chance to practice these 400 metres freestyles. And Kyle Mossman doing his best to come up on terms with Fergus Reid to take second place in this first heat. But I think Kenneth Trainer from South Lanarkshire is definitely going to take this one coming in towards the finish with just 5 metres to go, well inside his entry time, inside that 5:10. I suggested he might manage. 5:07.52 for Kenneth Trainer, take the first heat. Fergus Reid just holding off. Oh no, he didn't hold off Kyle Mossman. That was a dead heat. It's a good job there's no finals, isn't it? We could have had a swim off.
Yep, 5:10.55, both well inside their entry times. And Adam Selby 5:19.74. But yes, I agree, that was certainly an excellent swim from Kenneth. Big PB, 13-14 seconds. And he'll be highly pleased, I think, with result. So the lineup for Heat 2, we've got Dexter Suter of Lerwick in 0, Fraser Gemmell of first in 1. Also from first, Jake Ferguson in 2. Aidan Bruce goes for Aberdeen in 3. Ethan Collins in lane number 4 for North Lanarkshire. Finch Geary of Steprock in 5. Aaron Machin of City of Glasgow in 6. James Kilpatrick of Carnegie in 7. Aaron Drake of Warrender in 8. And Cammy McMillan of Renfrew Baths in lane 9. Entry times here 5:01 to 5:13. Good start in lane 3 and 6. Aidan Bruce, in fact, just getting the touch in 3:31.57 from Aaron Machin, 31.72. In between them, not too far away, Finch Geary in the blue cap in lane 5, just ahead of Ethan Collins in the red in lane 4. Also up there in lane 1, Fraser Gemmell of first. And lane 8, Warrender's Aaron Drake. 13-year-olds, one 12-year-old in fact, Aaron Machin in lane 6. The 14-year-olds, probably easier to talk about them. Now Jake Ferguson in 2, Aidan Bruce in 3, and Finch Geary in 5. 1:07.86, so that's faster than the first heat by nearly 4 seconds. And certainly pushing it on well is Aidan Bruce.
Yeah, it's interesting. The fastest to actually start off the block into the first 25 metres was the swimmer in the seeded lane in lane 4, Ethan Collins. But he did come straight up from his dive. There was no streamlining, no fast dolphin kicks underneath the water at all. And perhaps that's his inexperience of the 13-year-old. But certainly seeing those 14-year-olds coming through really strongly now, although Aaron Machin is 12. He's a bit of a trooper, isn't he? Swimming there in lane 6 for City of Glasgow. I think a move over from West Dunbartonshire, WDDX. And so Aaron Machin still working well. Over here on the near side now, Warrender Baths Club, Aaron Drake.
Another swimmer who's recently moved clubs. He was in Peebles, part of the BEST programme. He's now moved into Edinburgh for the joint Warrender. But leading still Aidan Bruce, 2:21.91. And pacing about the same as Aaron Drake now, who's moved into second. But he's got a lot of water in hand at the moment.
Yeah, Aaron Drake coming through there into second place. Another 13-year-old swimmer, so pacing himself quite nicely. Looks as though he's conserved just that little bit more energy towards the latter half of the race. We're into the second half now. But it's the swimmer, Aidan Bruce from Aberdeen, looking very strong at the moment, turning over there, 37.41. That split, so very similar to the last one. Aaron Drake just a little bit slower. So there was a few of the swimmers, wasn't there, on the previous length that turned over in 37 seconds. And there's a lot more water now even than there was the previous time. There's a good 10 metres there now that Aidan Bruce has got over lead, representing Aberdeen. Aaron Drake, the Warrender Baths swimmer, has now put some clear water between him and now in third place James Kilpatrick from Carnegie, who's swimming just alongside him there in lane 7. Aaron Machin hanging on quite well there in lane 6 from City of Glasgow, the 12-year-old.
So 3:37.88, lead a bit over 3 seconds. That's Aaron Drake there getting a nice split, and so in the third place, lane 7 is the Carnegie swimmer James Kilpatrick. He picked up a gold medal yesterday in the 13 age group. He's got a bit of work to do to catch Aaron Drake in the 13s. Of course, Aidan in the 14 age group. So really 2 races, if you like, going on here. Aidan versus the other 14-year-olds, and that one is sorted, done and dusted. And then we've got Aaron Drake trying to stay clear of James Kilpatrick, and certainly at the moment looking like he'll do that into the final length.
That was a fast 50 there from Aidan Bruce, the split of 36 seconds, or just inside 37, should I say. So, and he's looking strong coming down this final length. His entry time was just outside 5 minutes. He's going to be well inside that and absolutely chuffed to bits, I'm sure, with his swim. Aaron Drake as well, Warrender Baths Club, he's looking very strong as he comes in towards the finish. But no doubt about the winner here, Aidan Bruce, a 14-year-old from Aberdeen, 10 seconds inside. On that, inside his entry time, 4:50.94 to take the second heat. Aaron Drake, fast finishing Aaron Drake, 4:55.53, and an even faster split there from James Kilpatrick, perhaps with a little bit too much left at the end, coming also inside 5 minutes, 4:57.70 for James Kilpatrick from Carnegie.
So we'll keep an eye on the times in the 13-year-olds. So that time from Aaron Drake is now the time to beat. Still got quite a few 13-year-olds to come, particularly in this next heat, but I think one will go in the final heat. But a good swim from Aaron as well, and James Kilpatrick, as you said, with that strong finish. Both of them well inside their entry times. Let's just wait for confirmed result to come up, just in case there's any hiccups. But certainly not expecting any. But it is just taking a little while for the result to be confirmed. Let's see what that's about. Sometimes it's about checking the times and the finish order. Sometimes, of course, it is about a possible infraction, usually less so in the freestyle unless there was a flyer, but that usually gets called early in the race.
So in the next race, I think it would be quite good to talk about this new swimsuit rule that Scottish Swimming are bringing in with regards to technical swimsuits. We can see, or when we get a shot of the swimmers, we'll see a wonderful and weird array of swimming costumes that the boys are wearing, the girls too. I think some of these will be allowed, and some of them look as though they will not be allowed under the new ruling. But we'll wait until the race is underway so that you can have a little look at the costumes. But it looks like the starter has taken the swimmers out of the water, which suggests to me that there might be a little delay before the next heat gets underway. So from the 1st of September 2022, swimmers in Scotland aged 13 and under will not be able to wear tech suits. So what do you think about that, Duncan? What's your thoughts?
I think it's fair enough. I think you should be focusing on technique, skills, and really learning how to swim your events at that age. And it's not so much about times, and to the extent that these technical suits do add to your time with the compression. I don't know whether they do or not at that age, but it seems to me to be an expense that parents don't need. It's an expensive enough sport anyway, so why add to that expense? They can't be worn that often because they deteriorate very quickly. So let's go for the cheaper suit and concentrate on technique. That's what I would say.
Yeah, so let's get the race underway. We'll come back to that in just a minute. But I think there's another full heat here.
There is indeed.
Yeah. Heat number 3, in lane 0, Daniel Hendry from City of Glasgow. In lane 1, Sam Coolstep Rock. In 2, Matthew Sayers from Wigan. Lane 3, Connor Aspinall, East Lothian. In lane 4, Callum Ferguson from South Lanarkshire. In 5, Fraser Cowie, North Ayrshire. Lane 6, Tom Jeffords, Wren 96. In lane 7, Finley Geddes, Lerwick. In lane 8, Dean Bargatti, South Lanarkshire. And in lane 9, Rhys Edwards, Dumfries.
So 30 on the dot for Connor Aspinall. So he has the second. Well, there's 3 13-year-olds in this, including Connor. There's one more to come in the final heat. So if he can go on to push this on and be the fastest 13-year-old, he'll be setting the challenge for the final heat. Certainly off to a good start in lane 3. But on his right-hand side, Callum Ferguson, one of the 14-year-olds, along with Fraser Cowie in lane 5. They are both 14, and they are around 4/10 and 8/10 behind Connor, respectively. 104.94 is a fair bit faster than the previous heat, so Connor Aspinall going out strong here. East Lothian swimmer, East District Age Group champion, already been on the podium this week.
Yeah, so that's your neck of the woods, isn't it, East Lothian? And we've seen some really strong performances from their 14 to 16-year-old boys, and more so for the younger girls as well. What do you think they're doing right there? I mean, I know Jamie, their new coach, is has been there for a little while, hasn't he? So that was a promotion for Jamie, as we saw Bruce Halloran move over to Warrender Bath Club, but it certainly seems to be working well.
Yeah, and there is, I mean, obviously they're fortunate that they've got some great talent to work with the likes of Stefan Kravis, Luke Hornsey, Callum Peebles and the boys. We've got Helen Stoddart and the girls and some of the younger girls, and Connor certainly looks very promising. There's 3 feeder clubs in East Lothian, Haddington, Musselburgh and Tranent, and they've all got really good programs for the youngsters, and they work very well with the composite team. They train as a composite team. I know a lot of composite teams don't, and they are very joined up. I say they talk about, you know, 1 team 3 clubs, and that's their strap line, if you like, and so they very much give the credit back to the clubs of, you know, what they've given to the team. Then they've got a really enthusiastic coaching team, and as you say, Jamie Ward, the head coach, and the likes of Danny Kirkham and Andrew Ward as well, and others in that group. So it's a very tight, cohesive group, and a very, I think, a strong feeling of esprit de corps within it. So yeah, nice program to be observing at the moment.
And so while we were talking about that, the swimmer from South Lanarkshire has moved ahead, Callum Ferguson. He's a 14-year-old though, so different races because there's no finals this evening. But swimming well now in lane 2 as well from Wigan, Matthew Sawers. Is he a Scot?
So Matthew Sawers, yeah, also a 13-year-old, is a Scot, silver medalist in the Lancashire County Championship. So yeah, that creates a bit of a problem for Conor Aspinall. So Matthew now has moved into the lead at the 300 mark, 3:30.76. Conor Aspinall still right there though, so it's a good 3-way contest here, and it is the 14-year-old Callum Ferguson just edging it, and Matthew Sawers and Conor Aspinall going at it head-to-head, and they'll of course know that they're both 13-year-olds, but it is the Wigan swimmer who's got the advantage. Matthew Sawers, although precious little to choose between their splits there. In fact, Conor had the fastest, so they doesn't seem to be making that much of an impression. In fact, if anything, it is Matthew now who's found another gear. Follow them down the pool, and Matthew Sawers really upped the ante when he went through that turn, and he is going to take this one. So he's going to be the fastest 13-year-old going into the final heat. 4:40.72. Conor will definitely be on the podium with at worst a bronze, 4:43.51 for him, and both of them well inside their inch time. That was a cracking swim from Matthew.
That race, I think, really brought them on, didn't it? I think they were really battling each other down that, especially down that final length, but into the final 100 as well. Certainly pushed them on to times that they perhaps didn't think that they were able to achieve. So I hope we get a race like that in the final heat.
Yeah, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, wasn't it, with the 30s not swimming together. And, you know, is that going to count against the 13-year-old we've got left? Archie MacArthur, who's going to be swimming in an outside lane in this last heat against that head-to-head race that we've just seen between Matthew and Conor. So, well, we'll see. But certainly, I'm sure that Archie will have seen what happened there, seen the times, know what he's got to do. His entry time, 4:45, so he's going to have to produce a good improvement on that.
Something perhaps for swimming committee to consider, though. It would be on advice of the coaches, I'm sure, that we have it done the way that it is with the age groups mixed up to give the swimmers the best chance of producing the best times that they can, regardless of the ages that they are. I mean, they are still competing for places potentially at the British Summer Championships. 13-year-olds, very few get through because it's a 13-14 age group in that British Summer Championships. So those 13-year-olds, yeah, they do need the best chance of being able to compete against the best or the most like them as well. This is really even.
Yep, so away we go. The lineup in this final heat. Archie MacArthur, the 13-year-old, going for Inverclyde in lane 0. Ross Anderton of East Lothian in 1, Taylor Hutton of Incas in 2, Ewan Weir of Dundee City Aquatics in 3, Oscar Churnside of Geary in 4, Lewis Gibson, North Ayrshire in 5, Jensen Norris, Perth City in 6, Kenzie McLean of Perth City in 7, Josh Elliott of Hearts in 8, and Gregor Ross of City Glasgow in lane 9. Does look like it's going to be a centre lane contest at the moment. Oscar Churnside, Geary and Lewis Gibson of North Ayrshire.
We certainly saw Oscar swim in the 200 metres butterfly. That's a tough combination, isn't it? And this is a relatively short session, so there's not that long between the races. But Oscar we certainly saw in the 200 metres butterfly. I don't recall seeing Lewis in there, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was. We only had 20 competitors. So it may well be that they were swimming within themselves just to make it through to the final. But of course, this is a heat declared event. At the moment, it is Lewis Gibson, though, from North Ayrshire, just getting the better of Oscar.
Just keeping an eye on Archie MacArthur as well in lane 0 in the 13-year-olds. I can tell you his split at the 100 was pretty much the same as the previous heat leading swims, so he is right in the mix for the 13-year-olds at the moment. As we see the 14-year-olds, Lewis Gibson, Oscar Churnside, Taylor Hutton, the 1, 2, 3 at the 150, but it does look like it's going to be a battle for gold and silver and then another battle for the bronze. As the yellow and white caps do battle against each other, Oscar and Lewis coming up to the 200, maybe just Oscar. The Geary swimmer has the narrowest edges. Our cameraman decided that he fancied Lewis Gibson and got a good shot of his turn there.
Now it's interesting, Lewis Gibson breathing to the left all the time, so which means that on his way towards the turn end, he can't see Oscar at all. On the way in towards the finish, they were facing each other all of the time. Oscar is breathing to both sides, but he's choosing to breathe towards Lewis Gibson at least some of the time. He's breathing towards him all the time on the way towards the turn end and some of the time on the way up towards the finish end. So that'll be a really interesting last 50 when they're face to face.
I can tell you Archie MacArthur is going really well in lane 0. He was a bit faster than the previous heat at the halfway mark. So if he can keep this going, there's every chance of a gold medal. Of course, we know that Matthew turned on that blitz in the last 50, so he has to be able to manage with that as well. But still in the 14-year-olds, it's a really tight affair here between the two of them. Kenzie McLean is coming up nicely as well. I think maybe just edging third now, ahead of Taylor Hutton in lane 2, but it's Lewis Gibson, 800ths there ahead of Oscar Churnside, so absolutely nothing in it.
Now Mackenzie McLean's split on that previous 50, just a tiny little bit faster than Oscar and Lewis. It's not going to be enough for him to make any inroads on the leads that they've got, but Lewis Gibson looks as though he's given it his all down this 7th 50, and with just 50 to go they're going to turn pretty much together, but it just depends what Oscar Churnside has saved towards the end. He's already done a 200 fly this morning. He may be feeling it in his legs, and actually Lewis Gibson, let's give all the credit to him, actually he's really storming down this final leg.
Yeah, it's looking good for the North Ayrshire man now. He's opened up a lead, but Oscar Churnside, one last push, 15 metres to go. Can he claw this one back? He's about half a metre behind, but, well, it's not going to happen for him. Lewis Gibson coming in to take it in the end, extending his lead, and comes in 4:37.0, nicely inside his entry time. Let's have a look at Archie MacArthur's time in lane 0. That's 4:38.96, so that is good for gold in the 13 age group. So well done, Archie. That was a great swim from lane 0 to take the 13-year-old gold medal. But Matthew Thors will be the silver there, and Connor Aspinall the bronze. And
all 3 medalists in the 14-year age group in that heat then.
Yes, and that will be Lewis Gibson, Oscar Churnside and Kenzie McLean. So that was a good cracking race between Lewis and Oscar. I think you're right, probably that 200 fly just started to show in the legs there for Oscar at the tail end of that race, but a really strong performance from both boys, and I think that's maybe the first North Ayrshire gold medal of these championships. Tell me if I'm wrong, but well done.
I can't tell you you're wrong.
Well done to Lewis there, just confirming that. But we've now moved to medley relay. We just have one heat in this 11 to 13 age group. There are the teams. City of Glasgow B team in 0, Wren 96 in 1, City of Glasgow A team in 2, Warrender in 3, East Lothian in 4, Aberdeen Performance in 5, Highland in 6. East Lothian have a B team going in lane 7, and North Ayrshire go in lane 8.
Yeah, we saw a B team from East Lothian in the 14 to 16 years as well, didn't we? So obviously some strength and depth there on that coastline.
Yeah, and in the 17 and over girls, which was pretty impressive. So yes, so as you say, strength and depth in East Lothian, but also running B teams, because City of Glasgow, and you expect strength and depth there. And everybody else just the one team. Let's see how it works out. So the lead-off backstrokers are Daisy Gilday for City of Glasgow B, Cara White of Wren 96, Abigail Crawford, City of Glasgow A, Caitlin Reid for Warrender, Isla Wetton for East Lothian A, Eva Smith for Aberdeen Performance, Emily McDougall for Highland, Ailey Fee for East Lothian B, and Kate Stewart for North Ayrshire. And what a start from Aberdeen Performance. Eva Smith, who has had an excellent meet, is up by, what, 2 meters, maybe more than that, 34.62 against East Lothian's 36.01. Highland turning in third, although maybe lane 3 now. Warrender have moved ahead of them, and they're challenging East Lothian now for second place. Warrender with Caitlin Reid against Isla Wetton for East Lothian, but leading them by some distance is Eva Smith for Aberdeen Performance. So given them a great start. East Lothian now just consolidating their position in second place a little bit. Well, consolidation's probably overstating it, but at the first changeover, 1:14.12 for Aberdeen Performance, a lead of 3.5 seconds. In fact, it was Warrender getting the touch there. I'm not quite sure how that works, because East Lothian into the water, a long way clear of Warrender now, and they're trying to come back on Aberdeen Performance. It's Jessica Kirkwood in for Aberdeen Performance, Sarah Kravis from East Lothian. Highland maybe back into third now, Eva Robertson for them, Warrender just behind them with Josie Grimes, and then City of Glasgow with Gina Wren.
Well, let's see, 3 second advantage remains pretty much the same, although that's a really strong pull out from Zara Kravitz. Not long out the water from the 400 metres individual medley. So just the 9 teams here, I think that's, it's a shame actually. We've had competition before for these 11 to 13 year olds where we've had 2 or 3 heats and actually had to not allow all of the teams to swim. But in the water here is, we've got the University of Aberdeen Performance swim team and East Lothian, and Zara Kravitz has really brought it back as we come back towards the halfway mark. Really strong breaststroke from her, and really, really determined down towards this final touch.
Yeah, just going back to the lack of teams, I think that is a lockdown effect, because all these young swimmers have really just not had the chance to develop in the way that they would have done normally, and hopefully we'll start to see that back. But into the fly, and East Lothian have now moved past Aberdeen Performance, and taking it on for them is Ava Marco. For Aberdeen Performance, it's Hannah Yao. These 2 teams a long way clear of everybody else. You can see only those 2 teams in camera shot at the moment. Let's see who we see coming through, and it's lane 6 and lane 3. So Highland with Abigail Thomas and Warrender with Beth Kelly. So they're battling for the bronze at the moment, but East Lothian are looking to build up their lead. Ava Marco putting in a good push here. She went off like lightning. And let's see whether Hannah Yao can claw it back in the latter stages. Maybe she's certainly at least pacing level terms, maybe starting to pull the lead back a bit. But it's going to be East Lothian by maybe a couple of meters at the final changeover. It'll be Anna Lawson going on the freestyle for them against Madison Stewart for Aberdeen Performance. The gap is just shy of 2 seconds. And third place, it's going to be Highland just ahead of Warrender. They're out of shot now as we see East Lothian just rebuilding their lead here. So Anna Lawson looking to get the job done now for East Lothian over the Aberdeen Performance team, who've really pushed them all the way. We'll get a shot of the third place swimmers coming in now as these guys go for home, and it is Highland ahead of Warrender. Wouldn't Highland love to pick up the medal here? But it's going to be East Lothian, it looks like, for the gold, assuming everything's legal. They're going to bring this in. Anna Lawson, a safe pair of hands on the freestyle, will do enough to see off the Aberdeen Performance Challenge. So they are going to be 1-2. There's a race on for third. It looks like Warrender might be edging it. They'll come into shot shortly, but it is East Lothian swim team. 4:57.54 takes the win. In second place, Aberdeen Performance, and you see there a very strong finish from Warrender's Kate Nolan to earn them the bronze medal, and Highland taking fourth place. So 4:57.54 the winning time, East Lothian, 5:01 for Aberdeen Performance, 5:10 for Warrender Bass. That's your 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so Highland will have to wait another day for their first medal of these championships.
Yeah, it was an excellent swim though from the Highland quartet. Just not quite enough at the end, but did really well there. But well done to East Lothian, Aberdeen Performance, Warrender Bass. We'll see them shortly on the medal podium because we've got the medals for the 400s to come before that. 400 IM first for the girls, and then the 400 freestyle for the boys. But we're done with swimming for this afternoon.
We are. So while we just get organised down there by the podium, and we'll see the swimmers coming up towards the podium quite soon, but some of them are actually only just got out of the water. So going back to the swimsuits, to see that Scottish Swimming have defined a tech suit and issued some posters. So this type of thing is available on social media. I think it's also on the Scottish Swimming website, just so that everybody is going to be fully ready for the 1st of September when this new rule comes in. And it's for swimmers aged 13 and under. So it's only if you're age 14 and over that you can wear a tech suit at a licensed or registered meet in Scotland. And that's 13. It could be age on day if the competition is age on day. And if it's age at the end of the year, like it is here at the Scottish National Age Groups, then it's 13 then. So all the competition is fair. It'll be all of the 13-year-olds that can't wear tech suits. And tech suits have been defined as being swimsuits that have water repellent properties, use bonded or taped seams, so they're readily identifiable by the technical officials and by parents. There's some examples that they've put out onto their poster, which I think is a really useful read. We don't want any swimmers turning up and not being able to swim because their suits don't comply with the new conditions. So that'll be coming in on the 1st of September, but there'll be lots more information about it just to keep parents and swimmers right.
Yes, so don't be afraid to take advice on that, particularly if you're in the market for new swimsuits. But here come the medalists for the 400 individual medley. We've got the 13-year-olds and the 14-year-olds out together. The bronze medalists in the girls 400 IM. Just waiting for our presenter to come up. I think have we got our presenter? I'm not sure. Ah, yes, we do. And that's West District Vice President, Hazel Hastings. And the bronze medal in the 11 to 13s, Evie Mackey of South Lanarkshire and Freya Beaton of City of Glasgow in the 14-year-old age group. 11 to 13 silver medalist wearing the war paint there, Zara Kravis. And the silver medalist in the 14-year-olds from City of Glasgow, Coca Croxford. And the gold medalists, Emmy Aiken, Aberdeen Performance. And in the 14-year-olds, Kiana Kircher.
That's a lovely podium, isn't it? So this will be your first Scottish National Age Group Championships for these swimmers. Great to see.
Yeah, they won't forget this one, will they? They always remember, I think, the first time, particularly when you come to Tollcross, because it's sort of, you get all this sort of whoa factor when you come in for the first time, don't you? The size of the place, of course, held so many great competitions, Commonwealth Games, of course, in 2014. European Championships have been here. Major para championships have been here, so British championships have been here, so what a place to swim and what an event to swim it in. So here are the 400 freestyle boys, bronze medalists, East Lothian's Connor Aspinall for the 13-year-old age group. Doesn't look too impressed with that. Come on, cheer up, Connor, it's not that bad. A bronze medal, well done. Kenzie McLean, Perth City, getting the fist thump from former national SASA president Alan Fletcher, who does such a great job marshalling at all of our events. Silver medalist Matthew Soares with that great swim, the Wigan swimmer, Wigan best you can see on his shirt. Super swim that was. And Oscar Churnside of Geary, silver medalist in the 14-year-old age group. And then our national age group champions, 11 to 13s, that really great swim from Inverclyde's Archie MacArthur from the outside. Hey, that's my win from lane 0 then. 13-year-old gold medalist, I'll settle for that.
Oh, yes.
Lewis Gibson then, the gold medalist of North Ayrshire in the 14-year-old age group. So well done to all 6 medalists. And some really big PBs there and some stirring swims. So maybe particularly that battle for the gold and silver in the 14 age group. That was excellent, Lewis Gibson and Oscar Churnside.
Yes, I think that must be some new kit that Geary have there. When the swimming club was started back in the 60s, the colours were the colours of Gordon, which is royal blue and yellow. And it's gradually got darker through the years. And I think it's, I mean, we're looking at navy blue and a gold colour there, aren't we, with the new kit? Very nice, though.
So our medalists then for the girls medley relay. There are our bronze medalists, and that is the team from Warren de Baths. And it's Andrew Addison, the Scottish representative of the British Swimming Coaches and Teachers Association. And he's presenting the medals to Caitlin Reid, Josie Grimes, Beth Kelly, and Kate Nolan. Silver medalists, Aberdeen Performance, Eva Smith, Jessica Kirkwood, Hannah Yao, and Madison Stewart. Hannah, a bit reluctant to get on the programme there, on the podium, but there she is, gets her medal. I like the branded knees there that we're seeing. That's a first.
Yeah, I don't know if they're stickers or if that's been drawn on. Quite often see University of Aberdeen stickers.
So East Lothian taking the gold. Isla Wetton, Zara Kravis, Ava Marco, and Anna Lawson.
I think that must be a stencil, is it? Do you think? East Lothian stencil we're seeing on those cheeks.
The white nose as well from Anna Lawson. Whether that started off as an animal face, I'm not sure, but washed away by the water. Anyway, well done to our 3 relay medalists. Crouch down so you're all in. Christopher Phillips, our communications Wonder Lady from Scottish Swimming, taking the photograph there. So that is us for session 5. We are done, and it's been a pleasure as always. We'll be back, of course, for more this evening, so we hope to have your company for that.
Thank you very much, Duncan. Really thoroughly enjoyed that. Those relays at the end were super, but I saw great racing actually in that 400 free, 400 IM as well, and looking forward to the finals this evening.
Yep, so for now, we'll wish you a very good afternoon from Tollcross.